everyone, and welcome back to the island of Musée. My name is Kara, and today I will be showing you how I turned Daisy's house into a Ladurée store. Ladurée is probably the most famous macaron shop in Paris, and they now have shops all over the world, so I thought it would be fitting to add one to my French-themed island. To do this, I made a very special custom design that I will be releasing later on in the video, so I hope you'll stick around for that. The first thing I did was place Daisy's home using a hedge to make sure that I was one square at least off of the front of the cliff, and then I also added a bridge. And that is just part of the canal project I will be working on over to the side here, and hopefully I will have a video about that project out very soon. And I'm also undoing some of what I did before during my resident services build, just to give myself a little bit more space over here. I have this lovely herringbone pattern wood floor, and I'm adding that down. I'm trying to tuck it behind where the buildings will be covering so it looks like it has a seamless edge. And I am also taking it all the way to the edge of the cliff. This build is directly inspired by Ashley Crossing on Instagram, whose beautiful outlook I saw on Reddit a few weeks ago. He has an amazing Asian-themed island that you should definitely check out. I made this idea my own by using different terraforming and tree placements, as well as using totally different custom codes and colors. This tree and bridge already existed back there from my cathedral build back in October, and I used to climb up here to take pictures of a view that would otherwise be obscured by the buildings I was planning to put. So from the moment I saw the bridge in Ash's build, I knew it would be the perfect solution for this area. I'm not sure if he was the first to do this, and I remember seeing some vaguely similar views framed by bookcases back in early summer, but he was very much my inspiration here, so that's who I'm crediting, and I think it looks really nice. I end up moving this shelf, but for now it's just going to stay there. I really like how the books on it complement the shelves that I have up on the simple panels, but in the end I liked having the view open. I then start exploring different fencing options, and I'm going to use the simple panels I designed as a sort of wall in front of this build to close it off and make it look like the front facade of the building, which is what I'm checking when I climb up here, just to make sure that these simple panels in the front cover all hints of the simple panels in the back from a distance. I ended up deciding that I wanted to use a garden wagon, but first I needed to put down some custom codes to make sure that everything looked cohesive and pulled together. So I'm using this wood pattern to cover part of the balcony area of this build. I know a lot of the balconies are wooden on the bottom instead of being stone or tile, so I got a nice wood pattern. And I also ended up extending this stone pathing underneath of where I originally decided to put the wood, just for cohesion's sake and so it would show up on the map. Putting the wooden flooring over that completely covers the gap. Using my favorite stone tiles from Animal Crossing Alex, as well as I'm also going to use a nice cobblestone path that they've made. I really like the piecemeal aesthetic of everything that's going on here, and I'm going to continue to section it off using some simple panels. just making sure that I can walk through here without having to squeeze. And I do end up moving this one simple panel a little bit. I love the garden wagon on top of here, and down below I am planning to put a small flower shop, so I think that will be fitting. I really like using phone boxes in builds because when you put them at a certain angle it looks like windows, so I'm hoping to use that somewhere. And I'm also playing around with the wooden bookshelves because I do want to make sure that everything is lined up properly. I'm a bit bothered by this bit of visible cliff edge. And I realized that all of these simple panels were pushed forward and were not flush with the cliff behind them, so I fixed that. I thought pulling out this simple panel would help a little bit with disguising the cliff, but in the end it did not. So I just used this this time to put down some cobblestone pathing because I'm going to make a little eating area here. And I extended the fence a little longer than I probably needed to, just for the way it would look. I wanted the fence to go all the way to the edge, basically, and look seamless with this simple panel in front of it. This is where I give up on hiding that little bit of exposed cliff. Let me know if you have any suggestions for dealing with that, but I just decided that I would get over it. Thank you so much to Min, whose Instagram handle is Minsuya, for giving me this den desk. I haven't been able to catalog it anywhere, and it was really vital to this build. I love the minty color of it. It totally doesn't match the white of the bookcases, which is more cream, but I think it will look so beautiful in winter once this tree turns to a nice mint and snow color. I'm adding a cancer table and some Berliners, which is a New Year's item that we'll be getting shortly. I just got those from a friend who let me have them early. And I'm not sure about this cake. I think I might swap it out with a pink wedding cake at some point, but for now that's what I'm going to stick with. I'm also considering using this shelf here. We'll have to see how Daisy's house looks once it is fully in, but I did think that was a nice idea. And here is a custom stall design that I made. I'm about to show it to you. Before I show you my new design code, I'd like to mention that I have decided to only post the social media links for the design creators in the description, instead of just listing the codes. It's just one click to see the creator code in their profile, but I really want you to see all of the amazing creations they're coming up with, so I hope the extra click isn't too inconvenient for you. There are a few designs where I haven't found the original creator yet, or they no longer use social media, which will be the only exceptions. I personally think it's really important to cite the artists instead of just copying a string of numbers, and while I won't get mad at anyone who doesn't want to cite my designs, I would really like to see you guys use this on your own islands, and the best way to show me your creations is to @ me on Twitter or Instagram @Musei, and I can't wait to see what you come up with. So here's the custom stall design I made, and I think it's really cute. It just says Ladurée. It's based on all of their awnings that they have. Their awnings really vary in what pattern they have at the bottom, so I just went for a simple scalloped design. And I'm just going to put a few things on this so it looks a little bit more full. I'm using this pink wedding cake specifically in front of where the door is going to be, because I think it will help disguise that. Because otherwise when you're down on the ground you'll be able to see a bit too much of the sky through it. To get the stalls in the correct placement up here, I need to build a little bit of cliff, but that's not too difficult. And I think it looks really nice and seamless. So there's both. Next, I will do a little pathing just to tie this all together and get ready to build a flower shop down here. It took me a while to figure out exactly where I want to place a tree, and it also took me a while to figure out exactly what I wanted to put up here above the flower shop. It ended up depending on where I put the tree, because I didn't want what I put up here to be completely covered, so I wanted people to appreciate the garden wagon based on where I was placing the tree, which is why you see me moving it around a few times. Basically, I just didn't want it to be totally covered up. So this is where I put it, thinking I was going to put a tree, one tile away from resident services. I really like these fully opaque tiles by Alex because they overlap really nicely with the roots of the tree. They aren't too far away from it, like when you have to open up a clear spot in a in-game path. And I love these two simple panels so much. I think they're beautiful, and I'm totally going to cover them up so they're barely visible, so I apologize for that. I'm just using these leftover green windows. They're not super Parisian, but Paris does have a lot of architectural styles going on, and there are buildings that look quite a lot like that. So I do like to use them occasionally, even though they don't scream Paris in the same way as some of the other panels that I use. I finally found a spot to put the white telephone box. I've placed it up on the side of the Ladurée stall, and I think that will look really nice in the end, though I do want the garden wagon to face a certain direction. The flower stand is such an annoying item because it is a 1.5 item size, and I really think it should just be 2 tiles wide and maybe like 1 tile deep. It would make it so much easier to work with. I love to use the sunflower crown backwards to look like a bouquet of sunflowers. I think that's really pretty, and I haven't seen anyone else do that yet, but it's just a trick that I really love to do. I'm swapping out the simple panels just so that I can move this halfway over both of them, and then we can see a little bit more detail from each. Because I want there to be little hints of these flowers peeking out and not have it totally covered up. There were a few gaps when I looked at it from different angles, and I don't love to have gaps in my build, so I'm placing these 2 simple panels on either side just to help with that a little bit. And now it looks much more dense and cohesive. Thank you so much for watching, and I really hope that this new custom design will be useful for you all. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram and Reddit at Muse, and if you'd like to be the first to see these new builds and custom designs, then please consider subscribing. I really appreciate each and every one of you who choose to stick around. Thank you again for watching, and I hope I'll see you again next time.